What's up, fam? Hey, man, look, I really want to get into this report that I read on realtor.com and talk to you all today about why it's important to note what is really going on in the rental market. If you're not aware, man, this is a point in time where you may want to check out this video and actually check out the article that I'm going to actually bring up. I can link it down in the description below as well. And if you find value at any type of time in this video, definitely help the channel out by go ahead and hitting the like button, and definitely go ahead and subscribe to the channel as well. It helps me out a lot as I try to spread the message in real estate to each and every individual. What I really want to talk to you today about is how rent is actually continuing to trend down now, something that we've been waiting for a while, but we're seeing rent come down now. But I want to break down this article a bit and talk to you about why renting is still seeing increased pricing across the board on the median pricing, and how this is going to affect those who are trying to save their money to actually put a down payment on the home. I'm going to break down this article that realtor.com did a really good job of presenting, and we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to share some information with you as we go. So let's just go ahead and jump right on into it. So without further delay, what we got here, let me go and bring it up on this screen. Okay, so here we go. Right, what I really want you to know is that realtor.com says that rent growth has slowed to its lowest pace in 18 months. Okay, what does that really mean? It really means that the national rent growth has slowed by 4.7% year over year, and that means that the median U.S. rent is now hitting around $1,734. Okay, $1,734. Now, with this, the majority of landlords are planning to still increase their rent over the next 12 months. That's important, and I want to break that down for you here in a second. But I really want you to check out this graph where we're seeing that the median rent price, like we said, was $1,734. We see a studio is at $1,400, one bedroom $1,600, and a two bedroom is at $1,900. Okay, now why is those things important? If you check out what it says here, changes since October 2019, a two-bedroom apartment, which is probably what a lot of folks need, that's actually one watching this video, or two in the rental market itself, is seeing a price increase at least of 25% across the board, 24.7%. Okay. Now, in the short span time of October 2021, what we've seen, I'm sorry, when I say that 25%, that's from October 2019 to today's numbers that we saw in October 2022. Now, in October 2021, though, we did see two-bedroom apartments go up the least in rentals, and by less than 4%, where everything else increased by 4% or more. Now, when you talk about a studio apartment, it has seen the biggest increase out of all four categories over the last year, and that's about 6.7%. Now, this pace of growth was still nearly 1.5 times faster than it was in March of 2020, just before the pandemic hit. This is why I want you to understand, okay, we're still seeing the pace of rent actually increasing. It may be slowing, but the trajectory of it all has still not gotten to a point where you may still not be able to feel the effects of it. Okay, so let's finish up talking about this a little bit more. And if you have questions, definitely leave them in the chat. I'm going to answer your questions as I get to them at the end of the chat. So stick with me and drop your questions, whatever you got to do with the housing market, real estate, stocks, whatever it is. Leave it with me. I'm going to answer your questions at the end. Okay, so let's talk about what the median rent increase reported by survey respondents was. It says it was over $138 for lease renewals. That means people who have already been living in homes have seen their rent increase by another $138 a month. That means that's about almost $1,650 annually. Okay, now this is in comparison to $160 of lease renewals. Actually, $160 rent increase on lease renewals that we saw in July of 2022. Now, that payment would have been $1,900 over a year. So if you take the differences between the two, what we've seen recently and what we've seen in the past, that's about a $264 difference. Okay. Now, this is an important stat, and this is what I really want people to think about, as they go into this rental market, thinking about maybe they don't have enough income to be in a home at this point in time. And every situation is totally different. This is why I always recommend get with a lender who can actually show you the way that you may be actually able to afford a home versus you putting yourself in a predicament and not being able to handle it. Okay. And here's what I'm talking about. Those considering moving are currently looking for a 12.5% cost reduction on their rent, or about $200 per month, okay, for the median renter. That is up from 10.3%, or about $125 in the month of July. Okay, if you go back 3 months before this report, that was a $75 increase of people looking to save another additional $75 on their upcoming next lease. Now, to me, when you talk about people wanting to save $200 per month, they're looking to put in $2,400 back into their savings. Okay, $2,400 back into their savings. Why is that? Because now I'm starting to think that people are starting to see the constraints with inflation. They're hearing a lot of the talk about how inflation is not stopping. We know layoffs are happening. People are trying to prepare for the worst. But then also what we're seeing right now is that people are spending entirely a lot more in the economy because of all the pent up demand that we've seen bottled up during the pandemic. So now with rental prices going higher, this is starting to affect the pockets of those who would not normally be affected. And now we're seeing people are trying to downsize either in the space allocation that they have, or in the pricing that they're actually being able to afford in rentals. So this is important. Okay, this is very important because I'm getting to some stats that you really want to pay attention to if you're renting now, or if you're even thinking about considering selling your home. These are things that you may want to keep in thoughts as you're going about this. Okay, but it does say, this report does, that the number of landlords planning to increase rent more than 10% shrunk from 25% in April to 18% in October. So we're still seeing a nice sustained point of people saying, I'm not going to lower my rent on my tenants. However, if you are more so a renewal tenant, they are negotiating with those tenants to actually keep them in those homes at a lower income or a lower rental price than what the market is dictating. Okay, so now let's talk about this. High inflation and the cost of upkeep and repairs are hitting landlords, who have had to raise their rents to cover higher costs of owning their properties. Okay, now, so their landlords have figured out this game where right now the market is so less inventory in homes that they have figured out that basically I can charge my tenant all my costs, all of them. And when I charge them my costs, what they're going to do is they're either going to pay it or they're going to have to find somewhere else to live. And the inventory is so small that you're really not going to be able to find anything competitive than what I'm already offering you. And so you're going to have to afford my costs. Okay. And if you don't worry, you can still leave, but I'm going to find somebody else. Certain landlords have gotten to the point now where they would like to even see their property vacant versus not being able to find a tenant who can afford their rent that they're wanting to dictate to the tenants at this point in time. So some people will be okay with having to not paying their mortgage through their tenant and having to pay their mortgage out of pocket for 2 months to find the right tenant who can actually afford this. And this is going to get worse. Okay, this is going to get worse. So let's keep on talking though. I got some more points here I want to show you. Okay, now it says here in this report, increasing cost of ownership has led 80% of landlords to increase their rent over the past 12 months. 80%, folks. 80%. Now, among these landlords, 80% indicate that the changes to rental market prices in their area influence their decisions to raise their rents. Just what I just said, okay? Now, the typical renter reported being able to save just $100 per month. That's $1,200 a year. $1,200 a year. The typical renter is only able to save $1,200 a year. Now, If you actually compound that over 3 or 4 years, then that's $3,600, $4,800. You had to be aggressively able to save more for down payment on a home at this point, especially if you're trying to get a conventional loan. You can get a conventional loan anywhere from 3.5% to 20%. You can, but the higher, the lower the deposit that you're putting down, the higher your PMI insurance is going to be on that home. Now, if you're getting the FHA, you definitely know you only need 3.5% down as well. That's still going to be a high PMI that you're going to have to pay. Now, if you're doing a VA, if you're a veteran or whatnot, you have veteran eligibility, then you actually put 0 down. But still, at the same time, you're still going to have to pay a lot more out of pocket in expenses with the VA funding fee. 100% guaranteed loan is going to cost you more. So it's going to make your loan to value ratio not the highest of a conventional loan state. Okay. So those are things to take into account when you're looking at someone who's only been able to save $1,200 a year because of how high the expensive rents have gotten. Okay. And here's what I want people to pay attention to who are thinking about selling their home, though. Okay. Just 32% of renters are considering purchasing a home in the next 12 months, which is down 34% from July. That means, folks, that there's less competition for if you're a buyer in the market, which would demand that this has now turned into me. This has signaled to me that this has turned into a normal market. Okay. We're not in a seller's market and we're not in the buyer's market. We're more so in a normal market where negotiations should happen, where negotiations will happen, where sometimes seller concessions will play out, and sometimes seller concessions won't even be a thing on the table. Depends on the price point of the home. And now what you're seeing is we're not going to have the influx of 12 to 13 offers on homes. Okay. Just for an example, just think about it. In my case, I purchased this home for my family in July. Okay. When we purchased this home, we had 14 offers on this house. Okay. 14 offers. Now imagine if that house was sitting on the lot right now for sale. I would imagine we would not see 14. We probably either be the only or only 2 offers on a home. And every situation is case by case. But what I see is that the market had drastically changed from June to now. And now with the interest rates now starting to play this game of maybe possibly going higher, it's going to keep people from actually getting into the market. But really and truly, if you're a buyer and you're looking for a home right now, this may be the opportunity that you're looking for because the competition is not there. The quality of a home that you're going to get is probably going to be higher because home inspections are going to actually happen. You're not going to be paying cash on top of appraisal where the home may come in at a value of $300,000 and you had to put another $10,000 to $15,000 on top to beat your competition. Those are things that are not happening right now. But this fear of interest rates are keeping people out of homes, and they're renting and giving away their money to landlords or apartment complexes who are going to take that and write it off their taxes and pay their mortgages off on your income versus you considering what is best for you. Owning a home right now with a higher interest rates, making it work for you in a lower price home, looking to be able to refinance or even sell that later when the value of the home goes back up. Okay. That's just what my thoughts is on that. Now, the biggest reason cited were not having enough savings for a down payment and believing that they would not qualify for a mortgage. Okay. Now, we already discussed that people said that, hey, look, you know, I'm only able to sell $1,200. I'm only able to save $1,200 annually based on what the rental incomes are looking like right now. Okay. Where the rental compensations are coming in, the rental expenses you're looking at a median $1,700. Depends on the size of the apartment. It can fluctuate in price and it can go higher than that $1,700 median price. And with that, that's allowing you to understand that people are not being able to save more. So now people think they don't qualify for as much, which is probably true. But at the same time, not knowing what you qualify for is something that I feel like if you already know most likely you already know where your credit is at. And if you don't know where your credit at, I implore you to go over to annualcreditreport.com and get you one of your free 3 credit reports for yourself. So that way you can know what it is that your credit report looks like without getting the FICO score. But see if you don't have anything diligently on there that's going to be negligent on your account, this may still be the right time for you to understand what you can afford and how can you afford it and what does that look like. So working with a lender is one of those things that you need to do. Okay, I won't say need. That's more so me pushing you that in that direction. But you should want to know. Okay, you should want to know what you qualify for, and if you're not qualifiable yet, what do you have to overcome to become qualifiable? Okay, those are the things that I think about. So I want to wrap this up, and then I'm gonna get into some questions here. And I see I already got one question in the chat. Thank you. I'll get to it in a second. Folks, renting is going to continue to cut into your savings for your future home. Okay. And I'm not trying to push home ownership on people because sometimes some people are not in the place for home ownership. But what I want you to understand is that when rent is going the way that it is, it's going to cost you just as much to live in a home. Okay. So if you can afford the maintenance and upkeep of a home, and you can afford the mortgage that you're already paying in the rent, in a sizable rent, but then you get a fixed rate. So your rent, your mortgage now that you're getting doesn't change, but your rent can continue to trend up. And we're still seeing that trend happening. And you want to get out of that. Okay. So I'll leave you with this. If you don't think that renting is going to cut into your savings, I want you to send me a comment. Send me an email over at the CraigHoustonPodcast.com at gmail.com and let me know. But also tell me why you feel like renting is a better idea than home ownership. Because I believe home ownership is going to actually increase your wealth, your family's wealth, instantly, more so than continuing to rent. Okay, so let me get into some questions. If you got questions, definitely leave them here. The question that I have is, do you think we will have a Santa rally, or do you think all the China COVID stuff will stop us from a Santa rally? That is a good question. I appreciate that tip. Hey, so check this out. What I think about this question right here is we are in a wait and see pattern. Once again, I was looking at the indexes today, and I saw the pain that we saw there. But I also see where the news is actually promulgating a lot of the China stuff. So to me, the markets are going to affect it. Now, here's when the China stuff actually becomes real. If they do shut down the economy, if they shut down the economy, we will deal with the pain point there, where basically we will see the economy lock up. And when the economy locks up, our supply chains kind of lock up from that standpoint as well, too. We obviously know a lot of our imports come from China. So it's a wait and see game and hoping for the best, honestly, to give you the it sounds like a cop-out answer, but really and truly, it's no way of determining. Because if we start to see a rally, that rally can be superimposed. Like really and truly, think about it from this angle, I guess is the better way of saying it. Black Friday had $9.2 billion worth of sales. Okay, that was a record. That wasn't expecting that. Okay, Cyber Monday, they expected today to have 11 billion in sales. If China happens, if something happens where China goes in the lockdown stage again, then to me, that will affect the rally itself. Okay, the rally right now would probably more likely be in value stocks. Okay, it wouldn't be in your blue chip stocks. It wouldn't be in your heavyweights. I believe that value stocks will see a rally before. So your Russell 2000 stocks and your lower S&P 500 stocks will probably see a bigger rally than anything else. So to me, China will affect a lot of that going forward. So really and truly, it's a way to see pattern in my belief. More to come on that, though. More to come on that because I'm following that story. But I do think that is a story to keep your eyes on and wonder if we're going to deal with that again. And really and truly, the one thing about China that I'm weary of, that I will say, it only takes 1 or 2 breakouts in China to shut it down. It don't take 50 or 60 like here in the U.S. in a certain state or whatever. It's 1 or 2, they can shut it down, and then that's it. You're back on quarantine, and you're not going to work. So that's the difference, okay? So I appreciate that question. Then follow-up question here is also do you think once student loan payments restart, SoFi will start to go up again? That is a good question. That is a good question, man. That's a hell of a question. Honestly, You know, like that's a good question. Let me see here. Let me see if I can pull up my. You know what? Let's just do this. I'm gonna pull up a screen and we're gonna go check out. Um, 1 second. Let me get a screen up here. Pull up another tab. I want to say let's look at. We're gonna go over and look at the the shareholder investors page for SoFi. Do that. Let's do that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull up their last quarterly report and see, or last annual. Let's do the last annual. That's probably even better. So let's see. Let's see annual. Maybe it's quarter. Where's quarter 4? Oh, that's interesting. Let me go over to SEC.gov. Should have probably went there first. But give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull this up for you. SoFi. I initially wanted to say yes, right off the jump, but I wanna see what they're having a little hard time here today. Let's see SoFi. Oh, I want to see they annual press their 10K report. Before I say that though, let's see 10K report. They did an amendment. What did they do an amendment for? Let's see. No. Where's the balance sheet at? Probably should have clicked it from the top. 1 second. Let me see. Balance. Exhibits and financial statements. Yeah, because it's not in that one. That's why. Okay, so let's go to the other one. So it's got to be in this one. So let's see. Financial statements. Boom. All right, so let's look at. Guess I should search for, huh? Let's see. Loans. See if student in here. Student. Let's see. Looking for, all right, so that's student loan. Boom, nope. All right, here we go. Student loans. Okay, so what we got here is that they had 445. Is this is 10,000? Yep, 10,000. 445. No, that's not millions, is it? That is millions, huh? No, that's 1,000. 445,000 student loans. Okay, 445,000 student loans, which was an increase of 11% in 2021. Now, that's a lot of loans, honestly. So let's continue. Let me see what the value of those loans are, though. So it says student loans interest income was at 67.8 million. Okay, 67.8 million. And it says respectfully which were primarily a function increase the average balances of personal loans and student loans of 657 million. and 611 million. Okay, so we're looking for how much is the total value though. Mm, looking for that value. What is that value? They don't make it easy to find it though, do they? Let's see, lending segment. Hmm. Okay, look at this. Okay, so this said this is about 2 billion. Man, that is a lot. So they had an increase. They've been decreasing actually. Look, so in 2019 they had 6 billion in student loans. Is this in thousands? Is this, no? That's actually right. 6 million. They had 6 million in student loans. Then they dropped down to 4 million in student loans, and now they dropped down. No, that's actually billions. Yeah, that is absolutely right. It says in thousands over there to the side, huh? I didn't see that. So let's just double check. Double check my math. 284,778 times 1,000. Yeah, 200. No, 285 million. That's how much that is. So they had 605 million in 2019. Where did my mouse go? Okay, 605 million in 2019, 453 million in 2020, 285 million in 2021. That's how much they sold in loans, all right, or closed or added in loans. But the average FICO score was around 774. That is crazy. Okay, so let's look some more because we're still looking for that what their balance is on student loans. How much they sold. So they actually have been seeing a decrease in those. Okay, so loans at fair value. That's 2.876. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Maybe this is it. Hmm. 1,287,445. So yeah, they're at 1 billion, 1.2 billion, almost 1.3 billion in student loans at total consideration. I'm I'm with the fact that this is actually going to affect them positively, but what I will say, um, when it comes down to it, though, having it depends if they can write it off. If we keep on seeing that they are going to allow the 10,000 reduction on student loans happening, then they're going to be able to write it off as a tax write off. I'm pretty sure the government's going to have to write them a check for that. So I think, yeah, they will go back up. It's going to be a small pop, but really and truly, the main thing that you got to worry about with SoFi now is the crypto hangover and basically what the markets are doing with interest rates. Because who are they writing loans to at this point, with the market being the way that it is? I think that's the main thing right now. If the market was still at the level that it was at previously before, you wouldn't have that ordeal. But I think that's going to affect it a bit. So I will watch for how much they're actually going to be affected by interest rates if they continue to go up higher, and what's the outcome of what happened with FTX. I think that's going to be things that you got to watch for. when it comes to SoFi. I still like SoFi long term though. 5-6 years down the road, I think SoFi be a money maker for a lot of people. One last question. Okay, assuming China don't shut down, do you think oil will go up again? Yes. Yes, I do think oil will go up again if China does not shut down. Even if China do shut down, China's still going to need that oil eventually. So it's still going to go up once it reopens, if it does shut down. So yes, I do agree that no matter what oil is going back up, I think we're seeing a cooling period right now. Mostly because the elections just happened. We typically see a drop off right after elections, and then it ramps itself back up. So I expect that that's going to happen here soon anyway. Yes, I do think that's going to happen. If you didn't see the podcast yesterday with me and Mojo on the Bull versus Bear podcast, that's a plug for that show as well. Check that out because we talked about this yesterday as well, about how oil seems like it's bottoming right now and it's a wedge. Looking at the light crude oil numbers right now, starting to bottom a little bit, and then it's like it's going to bounce and then go up again. That's what it looks like. So we'll keep our eyes on it. And matter of fact, I'll make sure we bring it up again tomorrow on the podcast. But that is something that I'm thinking is going to happen as well, that it's going to continue to go up. So that's what it is, man. I'm here for y'all. Hey, definitely, I appreciate you for joining in. Hey, definitely find value in this content. Like I said before, definitely hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe, ring the notification bell if you haven't already. And definitely work with an agent if you are considering getting into the market and know where you stand at in the market. Okay, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Y'all stay safe. Peace.